Hey everyone, welcome to Southern California. Greg Lalas alongside Matt Doyle, and we are in Los Angeles. We're actually in Century City to be exact, getting ready for Saturday's MLS Cup 17, as Matt likes to call it. It's on Saturday afternoon. It's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll be able to watch it on ESPN, Telefutura. If you're up in Canada, it's on TSN and RDS. But before we get to the MLS Cup stuff, Matt, we have to talk about what's going on out at DC United. The big news on Tuesday was that Kevin Payne, longtime president for DC United, has left the club, and now he's joining Toronto FC. So Matt, what does he need to do for this Toronto FC team to turn them around and finally get them into the playoffs?
He needs to do exactly what he did in 1996 with DC and recently with DC, which is hire the right guy to steer the ship. Ben Olsen now, Bruce Arena back then, two guys who knew how to build a culture, who were willing to rely on young players and who didn't want to put all their eggs in one basket in Torsten Fring style or Danny Kuberman style. Toronto has shown if you rely on old injury-prone DPs, you're not going anywhere. And I think Kevin Payne knows that. He knows how to build a team from the ground up.
Well, there was a great photo actually online that I found where someone was wearing a paper bag that said new management in Toronto. Well, you have it now. Kevin Payne with Toronto FC. We'll see what that ends up doing for DC United. Obviously, they're in good position, having had a great run in 2012 and looking toward 2013 with new owners and new energy around their stadium as well. A few more things before we get to the MLS Cup news. A couple more awards were released on Wednesday. Federico Higuain from the Columbus Crew named as the Newcomer of the Year, and Jimmy Nielsen from Sporting Kansas City, the All-State Goalkeeper of the Year. Now, Matt, Goalkeeper of the Year, do you have any debate about whether Nielsen was the best goalkeeper of the year?
I do. I actually think Michael Gasperning, when he was healthy, was the best goalkeeper this year.
When he was healthy, though.
And that is the caveat, because he didn't play as many games as Nielsen did. Nielsen was a rock for Sporting KC, but Sporting KC allowed the fewest shots on goal. Nielsen didn't have a whole lot to do relative to guys like Gasperning, and Nick Raimondo would be another good one. Dan Kennedy for 2/3 of the year. I actually voted for Andy Grunebaum.
Who had a terrific year.
He was awesome. But you can't quibble too much with Nielsen getting the nod. It was the best defense in the league, and he does a great job of organizing.
They were a young defense too, so he helped to keep them organized for sure. He also won more than 70% of the media votes, so all of us types certainly liked what he did. Now, there's a little bit more controversy, and the numbers show it actually in the voting around the Newcomer of the Year. First of all, I think a lot of people thought that Victor Bernardez was going to get this.
He got my vote.
He got my vote as well, and yet about 30% or so of the media voted for Higuain. Obviously, they loved the goals.
Let's face it, Higuain was thrilling. He came in and he revitalized that Crew franchise. And not only that, but he had the effect of making all these young players who've had so much potential for the Crew for a couple of years, they all played better. So he deserves a lot of praise and a lot of credit, and his team ultimately fell short of making the playoffs, which is why he should not have won. Yeah,
well, you know what? Higuain won it, and he got the goals, and the whole point of the game, though, is to score goals, so you can understand why he would get Newcomer of the Year in 2012. All right, we promised we'd get to the MLS Cup stuff, and now here it is. The big news coming out from LA Galaxy camp, AJ De La Garza saying he is nearly 100%. If De La Garza is ready to go, this is a big decision now for Bruce Arena. Do you pull Tommy Meyer and put De La Garza in there?
No. I know Omar Gonzalez and De La Garza have this great relationship, and they've played together for years and years and years and won everything. But no, you don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, the LA defense is not broke. Tommy Meyer's been excellent in 5 straight games in the playoffs. He and Gonzalez seem to have a good understanding with each other. He's done a bit of distribution, as we saw against Seattle in that first goal LA scored. Everything is going right with him. De La Garza, he says he's 100%. I don't doubt him, but he hasn't played in 2 months.
Today we talked to Dave Sarakin on March to the Match podcast and actually talked about how there was no Brad Davis last year, so this is a whole better Houston Dynamo team than in 2011 when the Galaxy beat them in the final. MLS Cup, it's on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's on ESPN, Telefutura, and in Canada on TSN and RDS. Don't miss it.